Good evening, folks. Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. We are here for another starting 11 prediction, this time for tomorrow's game at Celtic Park against Aberdeen. I'm back this week. I was in Barcelona last week. That's why you seen Darren stand in on the full-time reaction against St Mirren last weekend, along with Callum and Martin. Thought the guys were brilliant. They stood in excellently. I'm buzzing to be back, and I'm looking forward to a 3 o'clock kick-off at Celtic Park tomorrow. Today I attended the pre-match press conference and spoke to Carter-Vickers and Ange Postecoglou. I've got audio coming up from that press conference with the manager shortly, but buzzing to get back to it this weekend. And tomorrow we'll have a full content schedule as normal, full-time reaction straight after the game outside the stadium, and the post-match pint returns tomorrow from Malone's in Glasgow. Myself, Kenny and Darren will be in there after the game to talk about it in more detail, and I'm buzzing to bring you the post-match pint again. It's been a wee while since we've been able to do a post-match pint after a game, so absolutely buzzing to get back to that. But as I say, I spoke to Cameron Carter-Vickers and to Ange Postecoglou today. I asked Ange Postecoglou how this one game per week that we've got over the next few weeks, what's the impact of that in terms of training, and does he value that given how rare it has been this season with the fixture congestion? Here is what the manager had to say.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know in depth, but it's just a different kind of build up to games. You're able to sort of work, a little bit longer, a little bit more. I think you get a real individual benefit out of it, because obviously, when you got the sort of 2 games or the midweek game, you kind of focus on the collective a lot. Having a full week allows our coaches to work more individually with players without sort of worrying about them, sort of overburdening them from a physical perspective leading into a game. So, I think the players benefit from it, just being able to sort of sharpen up in terms of the individual stuff, whether that's technically or from a tactical perspective, even physically. If some guys need some extra work or some guys need some less work, it just allows you to work. And yeah, it is good because you don't get those moments during a season, particularly at our football club, too often. But again, it's about capitalising on that. It's not about taking that for granted and just thinking that a couple of extra sessions a week is going to be enough. It's about making use of that time. And again, our coaches are really good at sort of planning that out. We've known it for a while, and our training's been really good the last sort of couple of weeks. Really strong, very competitive, obviously, with so many guys wanting to play. So I think it's definitely been a benefit to us.
Okay, so there you go. I'll link up the Cameron Carter-Vickers press conference. You know where it is. It's on Celtic's official YouTube channel if you want to watch the full press conference, as is the full press conference with the manager. Most of you have probably already seen it, but if you haven't, I'll link it up in the description below. Aberdeen at home. Obviously, we played them just before Christmas there when Jim Goodman was still in charge, and they were very, very defensive that day. They sat deeper than teams usually do against us, and it did take a late Callum McGregor strike to win it for us, but Jim Goodman's gone. Barry Robson is in temporary charge. They did get a win last weekend, but obviously in the grand scheme of things, not in a great place, not in great form, and on a really bad run of results away from home. They haven't won at Celtic Park since that trophy day back in 2018, I think it was, when they won 1-0 as Celtic picked up the league trophy. So, and again, it's just a big game for us. Every game is a big game at this stage of the season. It's just about ticking off the wins. We don't need to get that many more, and the consistency this season has been absolutely astounding. Only that one draw at Ibrox and the one defeat to St Mirren, won every other game apart from those. So if we can keep up that level of performance, I've no doubt we can get 3 points tomorrow. And as I said to the manager today as well, it must fill him with so much confidence given the number of goals the team's scoring, averaging more than 3 a game in the league. 4 at St Johnstone, 5 against St Mirren last week. And even though the top scorer, Kyogo, comes off after a few minutes against St Mirren, we still go on and score 5. Rio comes off the bench to get 2. Matt O'Reilly finally gets his first goal of the season. And when you look across the front 6, and even the guys coming off the bench, they all carry a goal threat, and that puts us in a really strong position for all of the big games coming up. So we'll get to the starting 11 for tomorrow then, and no prizes for guessing that it will be Joe Hart in goals. At right back, I expect Alistair Johnston to start. Cameron Carter-Vickers, who I spoke to today, will play at centre-half alongside Carl Starfelt. Hopefully those two can keep up that phenomenal league record. We've been defending really well. I know we've scored a high number of goals in recent weeks, but something Ange actually referenced in the press conference today that he's been happy with the number of opportunities we're restricting the opposition to. So hopefully more of the same tomorrow. Greg Taylor will be at left back. Again, excellent since he's come back from injury. A real big boost for us because we did have maybe a slight drop in performance in those games that he was out, and I'm not saying that's all down to him or down to Bernabei coming in, but there's no doubt that he helps us when he's fitting in the starting 11. One of the standout players this season, as I keep saying. In midfield, Callum McGregor, Rio Hatate, who came off the bench to get 2 goals last weekend. I think since the World Cup break, and I know that people have speculated whether his omission for the World Cup squad has spurred them on in terms of his goal scoring and his creative output going forward. Who knows? He doesn't have a high number of caps for Japan, so his time will come at an national level, but there's no doubt he has really kicked on in terms of goals and assists since the turn of the year. Got 2 that day, he played at right back against St Johnstone and got 2 off the bench last week, and that final one was an absolutely stunning finish. He just lashed it straight into the top corner. It's great to see him adding goals to his game, because the thing that stands out about him is the way that he controls the ball, the way that he can pass it and link things in midfield. But after those 2 goals against Rangers when he first arrived, you thought he was going to be a goal-scoring phenomenon for midfield, so it's really good to see him start adding numbers there. And again, I think he's got a lot more to go. I think there's more development to come from him, and I think his ceiling is really, really high. I think Aaron Moy will play alongside him. Great for Matt O'Reilly to get a goal last weekend. It's obviously been a bit of a monkey in his back this season. I think he's taken one of the highest number of shots without scoring of a midfielder this season. It was great to see him get on the score sheet. That'll do his confidence a world of good, because as lots of people have noted, his form maybe has taken a slight dip in recent months, and Aaron Moy, who's come in to replace him, has just been exceptional. So I think he'll get the nod in midfield tomorrow, and nobody can deny Aaron Moy's place in the team just now. He's probably the informed player in the country over the last 4 to 6 weeks, and he's another one from midfield who is adding plenty of goals to his game as well. So front 3, I'm going for Jota on the right hand side, Dyson Maeda on the left, and Kyogo Furuhashi, who is fit, through the middle. It was strange. I caught a bit of the game last weekend. It was strange to see him come off with that shoulder injury again. It was reminiscent of that early substitution that he had to have against Rangers with a Lundstrom tackle. I don't know if he's got an issue with his shoulder, but again, Ange said he's fine today. He's been training. He's fit for tomorrow. And he's all right. So it's kind of strange that 2 occurrences this season, he's gone down pretty early in the game, and there's been an injury to the top of his arm, his shoulder, and they've seen fit to bring him off, but then it hasn't been anything serious on both occasions. Does seem a bit strange, but brilliant that he's fit. A huge boost for us. As I say, the top scorer, been in excellent form in the last sort of month or 2, and I back him to add to his goal scoring tally tomorrow. But as I say, it's got to fill you with confidence, the level that Celtic are playing at just now. The number of goals we're scoring, the number of chances we're creating. I think the fluidity in attacking play is phenomenal. And as I say, regardless of who starts in this game, the number of options on the bench, whether it be O, who got his first goal last weekend, I was delighted to see that. Haksabanovic, Abada will be there. Likes James Forrest, still available off the bench as well. So we're really, really strong going forward, creating lots of chances, scoring lots of goals. And as I say, I'm buzzing to get back to Celtic Park tomorrow for a 3 o'clock kickoff. It's been a wee while since we had one of those on a Saturday afternoon, so can't wait to get back to it. That's it for the starting 11 prediction. Like this video, comment with your own thoughts on the team for tomorrow below. Who do you think will start? How many changes do you think there'll be from that St Mirren game last week? And please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. That is how you keep up to date with all of the content. And like I say, we'll be back tomorrow with full-time reaction. And it will be the long-awaited return of the post-match pint from Malone's as well. So wherever you're watching the game tomorrow, enjoy it. And we'll see you afterwards with the content. Cheers.